Welcome to today's Explainer. It helps to think of your engineering degree kind of like a high-performance vehicle. You've spent literally years building it, tuning it, and pouring your blood, sweat, and tears into it. But without a passport, you can't drive it across borders. So today, we're decoding that global passport, engineering accreditation. Let's just dive right in, because this invisible little stamp, it's the difference between a degree that only works in your backyard and one that literally unlocks the whole world. Seriously, take a second and ask yourself, what actually makes your engineering degree globally recognized? I mean, you put in the grueling hours, you pass the brutal exams, but when you hand that resume to an employer halfway across the world, how do they know you're the real deal? How do they know your A grade in structural mechanics is the exact same as an A grade from a school thousands of miles away? Well, that invisible bridge of trust is exactly what we're digging into today.
And look, the stakes here are absolutely high. An accredited program is basically your ultimate safety net. It guarantees quality assurance, gives you rock-solid graduate recognition, paves the way for professional registration, and of course gives you that global mobility. But without it, where your educational quality is kind of a giant question mark, your mobility gets severely restricted, and trying to get professionally registered, oh man, that becomes a seriously steep uphill battle. So, accreditation isn't just some boring administrative red tape, it is absolutely the definitive key to your career security.
Okay, so let's lock down a definition. Engineering accreditation is, formally, an evaluation process ensuring programs meet very specific, defined quality standards. But what's the real core of this? It's public protection. Think about it. If a bridge fails, or a power grid completely crashes, the consequences are catastrophic, right? Accreditation ensures the people out there designing our world are meeting the absolute minimum standards to keep society safe.
Which brings us to the gatekeepers of quality. Let's meet the folks standing right between the classroom and the global professional stage.
Meet those gatekeepers. We've got ABET, which originated in the USA, and BATET over in Bangladesh. Now, these definitely aren't just rubber stamps. They are specialized quality assurance guardians. They conduct the incredibly rigorous checks that keep engineering a strictly governed, highly respected profession.
Let's see how this plays out on a national level, using Bangladesh as a really great example of this two-tiered system. So the Bangladesh Accreditation Council, or BAC, they act as the big overarching national authority. They look at the whole picture: institutional quality, overall governance, academic policies, and the general infrastructure. But then working right alongside them is BEET, and BEET zooms in specifically on undergraduate engineering and technical programs. So while BAC makes sure the university itself is well run, BEET is the one ensuring the engineering grads possess genuine professional competence.
And you guys, this is absolutely not just about reviewing a stack of paperwork in some stuffy boardroom. These accreditation bodies do intense on-site evaluations. They are physically walking through actual laboratories, inspecting modern infrastructure, and checking out learning resources. They demand hard, physical proof that students are getting hands-on, highly relevant industry experience.
The paradigm shift, outcome-based education. To actually pass these rigorous inspections today, institutions have had to completely transform how they do things.
Let's contrast the old world with the new. So, traditional education, that was deeply focused on the teacher. Defining course content, delivering lectures, and grading students based purely on what the teacher taught. But outcome-based education, or OBE, flips that entirely on its head. OBE focuses completely on the learner. It's no longer about what was taught, it is 100% about what the student can actually do, learn, and demonstrate by the end of it all. It's a massive shift from teaching input to pragmatic, real-world learning outcomes.
This shift basically builds an entire educational ecosystem. You literally start at the very top by defining exactly what the student should be able to do. From there, you build an outcome-based curriculum. Then flows the teaching phase to actually guide the students toward those goals. And finally, the assessment phase to measure if they succeeded. Everything is perfectly interconnected. Now, if you want to speak the language of accreditation, you've got to know the core elements of OBE. You've got PEOs. These are what graduates should achieve a few years into their careers. Then POs, what they should know the exact day they graduate. And COs, what they learn in specific individual courses. Throw in assessment rubrics to measure all of this subjectively. But the real heartbeat of this entire thing, the CQI feedback loop, continuous quality improvement. Accreditation is basically a massive ongoing commitment to just getting better and better every single year based on hard data. The process of passing the gatekeepers. How does a university actually prove they meet these crazy high standards? Let's take a look.
Here is the actual journey, and we'll look at it specifically from the BAYAT perspective. Step 1 is this massive internal audit called the self-assessment report, backed up by solid evidence. Step 2, an expert panel evaluates that report. Step 3 is that critical on-site visit we were talking about earlier. Step 4, the panel delivers their findings and recommendations. Step 5 is the final, ultimate accreditation decision. And Step 6, as always, returning right back to continuous quality improvement. It is a grueling, rigorous gauntlet strictly designed to separate the absolute best from the rest.
The ultimate destination, global accords. Because if your program survives that gauntlet, this is exactly where you end up.
I actually want to read this quote directly from our source material because it just hits the nail on the head regarding the stakes here. The accreditation of academic programs is a key foundation for the practice of engineering at the professional level. Frameworks like the Washington Accord act as these massive international mutual recognition agreements. If your program is accredited by a body aligned with the Washington Accord, boom, your degree is treated as equivalent to degrees from all other signatory countries. It's the literal foundation for working across borders.
And different global accords recognize different professionals based on their depth of analysis. So engineers deal with complex problems that require abstract original thinking. That aligns with the Washington Accord. Technologists tackle broadly defined problems using proven techniques. That falls under the Sydney Accord. And technicians handle well-defined problems using standardized methods under the Dublin Accord. So accreditation basically places you exactly where you belong on this massive global spectrum.
So let's bring this whole shebang together. What's the real value of this global passport? Well, for you, the focused learner and future professional, it ensures direct recognition by employers worldwide. It basically guarantees your eligibility for professional engineer registration and unlocks genuine international mobility. But zooming out to a larger scale, it builds absolute trust between academia and industry. It ensures the professionals building our tomorrow are actually competent, which guarantees public safety and sustainable infrastructure for literally all of us.
Which brings us to a final thought I want to leave you with. You're out there dedicating your life to building the future, whether that's in code, concrete, or circuits. But as you do, who is ensuring the invisible safety nets of your own education are secure? Accreditation isn't just some annoying administrative hurdle. It's the very foundation that gives all your hard work meaning, mobility, and real trust on the global stage. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time as we continue to decode the systems that shape our world.